Good morning and welcome to the Shepaug Valley School Commencement celebration of the class of 2025. Please rise and join me in welcoming the class officers to the stage to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, class officers. Please remain standing for another few moments, first as we honor Matthew Buell, Vincenzo Masego, Alexander Keehee, and Juliana Shea for their commitment to military service. Could they please join us in front of the cohort on stage? And could I invite the Shepaug Valley Chorus to come forward to sing the national anthem?
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free?
Thank you, chorus. That was wonderful. Please, everyone, be seated. So again, families, friends, faculty, staff, administration, members of the board, and the class of 2025, welcome to our commencement celebration. It's funny how this week went because each and every day I said, please don't let it rain. And I looked outside right before this and said, I'm so glad it's raining right now. So it's hard to make the right call, right? It's wonderful to stand here, always at every commencement, but especially for me today. My first year here as principal was your first year in high school. Now, 4 years later, we're all moving on to other things. That's not bad. It's wonderful, wonderful to take next steps, wonderful to experience the rites of passage that ensure we never get stale. Now, it's been 40 years since I sat where you sit today. Maybe that shows. You can see all their faces now. That wouldn't be true, so I don't know what expressions you saw. I bet you didn't see one person say, no way, he's not that old. You know, but a few of them probably nodded their heads and said, now that makes sense. I don't know. But on we go, all of us, with excitement and maybe a residue of trepidation over leaving the familiar to chart new territory. But good for you. It's all out there waiting for you. And I'm excited for you to be on your way, no matter how melancholy I might be, to think this is a farewell. We are all always becoming. Yourself is never really done developing. One of the biggest challenges in high schools is that everyone discovers themselves at different paces. that can sometimes create some mismatches between the stuff we want to cram into you and the extent to which you're ready to investigate whether that stuff is worth your time. Some of this is our fault, my fault, the system's fault. We have this stuff we believe to be really important, but students are not always ready to appreciate its importance. Then a chasm can develop between our expectations and student responses, and we might mistakenly conclude that kids don't want to learn. There's a story that supposedly dates back to the author and playwright Chekhov, as recounted by Bertrand Russell. A man tried to teach a kitten to catch mice, and when the kitten would not chase the mice, the man would yell at the kitten. Even as an adult, that cat would cower in the presence of mice, but this should not make us conclude that cats are afraid of mice. Incidentally, we obviously have many animal lovers here. I'm sorry to share a story that involves kitten abuse and practices that don't end well for mice. I assure you no animals were harmed in the course of preparing this speech. I guess part of the point of the story is to remind us not to be overbearing with students, of course. Most interesting to me, though, is this observation. When mother cats teach their kittens how to catch mice, they wait until the kitten has developed an appreciation for the importance of that skill. Then the kitten can be truly invested in the project and see why it might matter. Then you don't need to punish or reward the kitten over its performance with the mice. The kitten will operate on intrinsic motivation. Now, of course, we cannot simply say to kittens or people, okay, if you're not interested in learning how to feed yourself, you can just spend your life chasing flashlight beams. Always we face the questions about what we need to know, when we need to know it, and who has the power to make those decisions for free, sentient beings. In schools, we try to answer these questions together. In the world of public education, and given the time it takes for human beings to develop their abilities to appreciate this or that project, I guess we sometimes teach the mouse catching before the kittens are ready. Now, we do awesome work around mitigating that, especially with the excellent faculty we have here, by building in lots of student choice and connecting learning to relevant outcomes or concepts that students can appreciate, but still in some cases, our developing selves have not yet expanded into zones of new self-discovery. Ideas do break through, even if only partly, and selves become more experienced over time and more pliable and open to taking leaps of faith about what discoveries may loom. But it's not a bad idea to remember that at times we're all in the position of that kitten. Living and learning changes kittens into cats, but at no time is anyone just a kitten or just a cat. It's a sliding scale based on context, developmental reality, and personal experience. At your own pace, you will reach degrees of readiness that open doors and interests once closed, and also close doors once considered open, and that's fine too. Now we come to the end part of this talk and to the moment where I fearlessly face the question looming in many of your minds, why on God's green earth is he telling us all this? First, if you are now like that adult cat who shuts down when you see a mouse, the metaphor you get, right, is with respect to this or that idea or project or discipline. If that happens to you, that's not your fault. You're not really incapacitated by mice. You're just living through the aftermath of encountering ideas that did not yet strike your fancy. Yourselves are very fluid. You might not know yourselves as well as you think. We are all always one experience away from some delightful serendipity or discovery. Some college professor or work mentor or parent or friend or military trainer may expose you to ideas or projects that change the way you understand your own beliefs and preferences. Like a switch being flipped, you may discover that you really do like history or mechanics or art or math, and it really can excite you because the time will be right for that discovery. And at the same time, after collecting enough experience, and as long as you're making truly informed and volitional choices, very soon you can just start saying no to the things that do not move you. Not completely, but to a very large degree you'll be able to do that. You can say thanks but no thanks to the mouse chasing and replace that by chasing something else. For the rest of your lives, allow yourself the space and the flexibility to investigate ideas. And get ready for some wonderful surprises along the way. This mindset is important no matter how you currently feel about high school. Some of you were thrilled by many of your experiences and now believe you have a solid understanding of the roadmap that will take you forward, and that is wonderful. Others may feel they do not yet fully appreciate what a lot of the academic fuss was about, and so may think formal schooling is not really their thing. And a great many of you may feel a mixture of these competing tendencies. Please understand, yourself is never completely set, and you are all pioneers on the great plains of your own westward expansion towards the horizon, towards a destiny that is not manifest until manifested by you and your choices again and again. Second, I keep talking about the idea of the self or yourself. What is yourself? If you think it's your physical body, realize that every 10 years or so, given the ways our cells die and regenerate, your body is literally not the same as it was in the past. It's not the same stuff. That sounds weird, but it's true. Now, brain cells do not regenerate. Over time, we lose some, but the others remain constant. So then you might think myself is composed of my memories, my experiences as recorded in my brain cells. But research has shown that memories can be faulty, often not completely reliable, and can lead to misunderstandings of what the past really entails. So what's left? A pretty strong case can be made for the idea that yourself, and I put that in quotations here, is the aggregate, the sum total of all the choices you make and the actions you take based on those choices. Those are the things that will truly define you and truly impact the world. So keep a very open mind about what mice you choose to chase. Because as noted before, any mouse can be right or wrong given the space you are in. Allow yourself to chase experience, except when it's clearly not healthy or nourishing to your soul. Finally, on my view, I put your self-awakening before any other need. The technocrats out there might be disappointed with my metaphors here today. They probably think we should be talking about innovation and how to build better mousetraps. That's important too. Better mousetraps are very important to society. And I've gotten to know the people on the stage over the past four years a little bit, and I know that many of them are very likely to build some better mousetraps for us, and that's great. But before that should come what is important to you. Find the ideas that delight you, then use them to invent the practical applications we all need. I wish you a world and life generously lit by knowledge, curiosity, kindness, self-awareness, and cat and mouse games that are so much more than the trivial or pointless idea that phrase normally represents. Congratulations to the class of 2025. Now, please join me in welcoming Salutatorian Juliet Eddy to speak.
Good morning. As we exit this stage of our education and challenge ourselves to learn in some completely new environment, it is important that we remember the principles of learning which Shepaug has taught us. Although the acquisition of new knowledge and development of technical skills, which our Shepaug education has afforded us thus far, is undeniably important, it is more imperative that we have succeeded in developing the manner in which we learn. From the moment we are born until we leave this earth, it is wired into our brains that we must learn about everything we encounter. Our curiosity is possibly our greatest gift as humans, and therefore, the better we become at satisfying our curiosity or learning, the closer we grow to happiness, success, and finding meaning in our lives. Our education at Shepaug has recognized this and has given us the tools to transform into the strongest learners and simultaneously best versions of ourselves. Primarily, Shepaug has taught us that learning in the most efficient and thorough form cannot occur without entertainment of diverse perspectives. Through heated social studies debates and challenging ELA analysis discussions, we have repeatedly seen that often our peers' interpretations and opinions diverge completely from our own. The acceptance of this has resulted in the opening of our developing minds and broadening of our own perspectives. We have been shown through countless academic discussions that learning is most efficient when collaboratively undertaken and humbly approached. As Socrates famously stated, The only thing that I know is that I know nothing. The essence of this quote encourages humility when learning, which requires setting aside our own opinions and understandings to develop a clearer consciousness of the world around us. Most easily, this can be achieved through listening openly to one another, as we have been taught at Shepaug, and building upon each other's unique insights to form a deeper understanding of an idea. Secondly, Shepaug has shown us that the most rewarding learning requires engagement and genuine interest. As can be understood by any student, learning is always more difficult in a subject which fails to interest us. Although the discipline of forcing ourselves to learn something which does not engage us is necessary for a life skill, we are the best learners when we study our passions and apply ourselves generously to the material. Learning to fulfill our interests leads to an appreciation of learning and the learning process, and the ultimate achievement of a love of learning. A love of learning cannot be taught or developed through a few years of education, but rather must be worked towards as a lifelong endeavor. When learning is practiced, as we have done extensively, and sometimes painfully, over the past 12 years, it becomes so natural to learn that we often take for granted the beauty of our education. So as we leave Shepaug, let us allow our various new learning environments to nurture our love of learning and provide us the space to ignite our curiosity. Congratulations to the class of 2025, and thank you, Shepaug, for teaching us to learn.
Thank you, Juliet. That was wonderful. Please join me now in welcoming Assistant Principal Michael Croft as he announces this year's winner of the Academic Commitment Award.
Starting with the class of 1996, Shepaug Valley High School students have been recognized for their commitment to academic studies. They have earned academic commitment credits by demonstrating purpose, setting long and short-term goals, showing perseverance, and producing quality work. At graduation, we recognize the senior who earned the most academic commitment credits in their high school career. We know it to be true, and Shepaug's guiding beliefs remind us that learning requires courage. This year's winner of the Academic Commitment Award has demonstrated the courage to work diligently and with purpose throughout their high school career. This recipient was cited for academic commitment 74 times throughout the course of their high school career. I am very pleased to present this award, and please join me in recognizing Hayden Miles for the perseverance and sense of purpose that she's brought to our classrooms these last 4 years. It's my pleasure to introduce Director of School Counseling, Sophia Velez, who will present the Community Service Award.
Community service is among the most significant ways we promote giving back to the community and thereby teach and model our Shepaug learner outcomes of answering a call to citizenship. Due to the importance that we place on service, it was decided that the senior who contributes the most community service hours would be recognized at graduation. I am pleased to announce that Michaela Alexandrowitz is our Community Service Award winner. Michaela contributed 440 hours of service to the community. Please join me in recognizing Michaela for her outstanding service.
Please join me now in welcoming the valedictorian of the class of 2024, Peyton King, to the podium, where she will share reflections with her classmates.
Good morning, everyone. After 4 years of high school, we are about an hour away from walking across the stage, receiving our diploma, and officially becoming high school graduates. There were definitely some times where it felt like this day would never come. The days where the milestones and challenges that stood before our graduation seemed endless. But like everyone always told us the second we started high school, the time really did fly. 3 years ago, my family and I moved from California to Washington, Connecticut. We got here about a month and a half before the start of sophomore year, and in an attempt to meet some other kids and coaches, I decided to join the cross-country team. Interesting choice considering I wasn't a runner. So on my first day of summer practice, my mom and I drove down to the Steep Rock Preserve, ready to meet my future class. We pulled in the parking lot a minute or two early, only to realize that there was not a cross-country team in sight. The only people there were Spear and Mrs. Schur. It was safe to say that all of us were concerned in our own way. When I was talking to them a couple weeks ago, we were laughing about how the plan to meet at least a couple of other kids completely backfired, and I ended up running with just the coaches. And not only did this happen once, but it happened again 2 weeks later. After that, I was a little concerned that the cross-country team was just going to be me, and that the Shepaug spirit wasn't overly abundant. But as I walked into school a couple weeks later, I could not have been more wrong. As soon as you walk into Shepaug, you're greeted with good mornings, hellos, and why I see you at practices. At every senior project presentation, you had an audience full of supporters to cheer you on and get you through that daunting 45 minutes. And at every state game, the bleachers are filled to the brim with Shepaug crowds following around neon, whiteout, and frat themes. The support for each other has been endless, and from this, we truly have continued to show how Shepaug Valley High School is a special place. We could not have gotten here today without each and every one of you. We all have contributed to the vibrant and close-knit community that makes Shepaug stand out, and this will last for years to come. Winston Churchill once said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." Although Churchill said this in response to World War II, I do think it is applicable to high school and our future lives. By sitting here today, we know the truth in these words. We all have taken risks and pushed ourselves outside of our comfort zones. Sometimes it's successful, and sometimes not so much. But we are all here today. No matter where our paths bring us next, we should have that courage to continue and aim to make a difference in our communities. The changes we make in other people's lives are the impacts that last a lifetime. When I first moved to Shepaug, the trait that I valued the most was our school's selflessness and devotion to others. I would not be standing up here today if not for the depth of Shepaug's community, and I encourage us all to carry this trait into our future lives. We may not have realized it at the time, but we've been built upon a foundation that fosters a strong community. Because of this, we all have the tools and abilities to transform our future environments into homes. So as we receive our diplomas today, and take our next steps, just remember that success is not final and failure is not fatal. So have that courage to continue, because at the end of the day, that's the choice that truly lasts. I would like to say thank you to everyone sitting in this audience and on the stage. To the parents, thank you for all of your support throughout our lives. You've been our support systems and mentors since the day we were born. To the teachers and staff, you've been our guides within Shepaug for the last couple of years, and for some of us today, the past 7 years. I cannot put into words how grateful I am and how thankful Shepaug is to have had your support throughout high school. From the panic runs to stints for senior project advice, to walking into your first Mr. Dennis class, which will inevitably become one of your favorites, you've always been there to guide us through school and life. Thank you. I would also like to say thank you to the Agri-Science program for having brought this new side of hands-on education to Shepaug. It isn't every day that you can go from driving a tractor to reading Great Gatsby, so thank you for allowing many of us that opportunity, and shout out to Plant Science. And finally, thank you to our administrators for having put in countless hours to ensure Shepaug is both functional and enjoyable. All of you have worked together to build the Shepaug community, and none of this would have been possible without you. Congratulations, class of 2025. We are officially high school graduates. Thank you.
Thank you, Peyton. Now I welcome to the podium Logan Messina, standing in for Dr. Youngblood, who will recognize the seniors who demonstrated exemplary work in their senior project.
Each year, Shepaug recognizes and awards distinction to students who demonstrated strong commitment, diligence, and passion in completing their senior project. This year, the senior project team is pleased to recognize 2 students whose projects exemplified excellence in all facets. Each of these students pursued their projects to the fullest extent, leaving no stone unturned, which has always been our core criterion for this commendation. We would like to recognize Peyton King and Rebecca Wheeler for their outstanding work in senior project. Peyton's project, titled Clay for a Cause, focused on learning and practicing pottery. Peyton infused the project with intellectual sophistication by going beyond developing an artistic skill. Her work showed a strong intersectionality of art, humanities, and science. Peyton incorporated elements of natural history, anthropology, African, Asian, and Indigenous American history to inform and inspire her pottery. Her research was dimensionalized further by studying cleft palates, which informed her decision to use her pottery to create fundraisers for Project Smile. Her project was a convergence of multiple disciplines that showcased deep, authentic inquiry and analysis, which is essential to Shepaug's identity and spirit. This year, Rebecca was enrolled in the early enrollment program at Johnson & Wales University, so she completed her senior project while simultaneously pursuing her freshman year in college. Her project, titled From Dirt to Plate, expanded her family's garden exponentially, growing dozens of vegetables, fruits, flowers, and herbs from seed. Her research was exceptionally thorough. She analyzed soil samples and adjusted nutrient profiles to suit each seed. She returned home each weekend to prepare the fields, tend the plants, and then to can over 50 jars of jam and pickles and arrange flower bouquets, most of which were donated to local fundraisers. Ultimately, her project met some of America's most fundamental values of self-reliance, sustainability, and connecting to the land. I would even say she had fun doing it. Let's congratulate these 2 decorated seniors. May your work continue to inspire.
Every year, Shepaug seniors select one member of the faculty and staff to address them at graduation. This year's speaker is Mr. Andrew St. Jean. Let's cheer for him. I have a few more words to say before it's you. Yeah, come stand over here. Great. Andrew is a very important member of the Shepaug community. There are many here who approach their jobs and roles in our school with purpose, and Mr. St. Jean is high on that list. Everyone knows him. Everyone knows that Andrew cares. Everyone knows that Andrew wants Shepaug to be safe and smooth. He has time and an ear for everyone. No doubt his care, concern, and interest in the well-being of our students is reflected in his selection to speak here today. Please welcome the class of 2025's speaker, Mr. Andrew St. Jean.
Each day that I arrive at work, I'm thrilled and excited to see all of you. I look forward to the smiles and laughs and the great conversation that we'll exchange. Today I'm equally thrilled and excited, and I'm grateful and overwhelmed with joy to share this moment with you today. Good morning to Shepaug, family and friends today, townspeople and neighbors. Thank you for being here. Good morning to all my fellow staff and faculty, and to our Board of Ed members, and to my administrative staff and superiors. And finally, good morning and congratulations to all of you before us, our graduating class of 2025. For some of you, our conversations and interactions began many years ago. I've seen the learning and the development and the growth that goes in to creating fine humans from the start. For a few of you here today, today might be referenced and defined as a finish line. For others, today might be a new starting point. When you leave here today, a new adventure will begin. all of you here, each of you individuals will be inventing and creating increments of achievement and success under your own power, as you've done so prior to this very point. All you need to do and focus on when you leave here today is create and develop a chronological timeline of your own completed goals, tasks, and achievements that will define, capitalize, and represent who you are to those around you. During your downtime, that's the time and place for rest and relaxation and self-evaluation, where you've come from and where you are right now and where you'd like to be. Eventually, you'll find that there are no finish lines. These folks here that are sitting beside me, your teachers and coaches, your guidance department, none of these individuals have any finish lines. Why? Because their work is never done. Giving and providing each day their very best, top of the line, and superior service that they deliver to you each day. You have also done the work. In fact, during the first week of school in the gymnasium, during orientation, I asked one thing of you: to do your share of the work. That's why you're here today, because you made the investment and you committed to the required tasks. There's going to be many of them. Every day is going the way it is because you're making it that way. And you should be proud of that. In closing, I have a piece of writing I've shared before in the past, however, I think would fit just fine in today's delivery. To all the grandparents and legal guardians, and to all the moms and dads, some of these kids, young adults, will be leaving the house for their first job, and they'll be gone for the whole day. Others will be leaving for school full-time, gone away for the season. At dinner time, there's going to be a few less plates and dishes to clean. That load of laundry at the end of the week is going to be a little bit smaller, and the house is going to be a little bit quieter. Please, those of you who have any uncertainty or any doubts regarding your child's absence and their desires and mission to succeed in life, don't. If there's anyone's word of confidence and absolute certainty that you can accept and take from anyone, please take my word. Your children are going to end up being just fine. Our teachers and coaches, our guidance department, faculty and staff, Principal Shells, Principal Croft, and Dean Parachi have fine-tuned their craft and the skill that they perfected, and that is creating and producing really good humans. Shepaug Valley is turning out really great people, and today's graduating class is a fine representation of just that. I would like to thank the entire senior class for letting me share this moment and this special day with you today. I would like to express my sincere appreciation and thanks for thinking of my name or even considering my presence to represent and speak on your behalf today. I would like to thank my senior class officers, Ms. Amelia Jacob, Ms. Julia Eddy, Ms. Matilda Skiles, and Ms. Krista Rickmers. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I am overwhelmed and thrilled to be here today and equally flattered. I'm very proud of all of you. I wish you the very best and most sincere wishes. And finally, this is your time. Revel in it. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Now, please join me in welcoming Krista Rickmers, class president, as she shares her final reflections.
Good morning, graduates, family, friends, and faculty. My name is Krista Rickmers, and it is an honor to say that I served as class president during my sophomore, junior, and senior years. On behalf of the student body, I welcome you to the graduation ceremony of the class of 2025. Graduates, today marks a day of new beginnings, a day we've looked forward to, worked toward, and maybe even dreaded a little. The moment this ceremony ends, so do the routines we've known for years. And with that, the journey we've been preparing for over the past 4 years. I can promise that every person sitting here in their cap and gown has the potential for a beautiful and meaningful future. But to be honest, that future has been at the forefront of our minds for months now. So much so, many of us haven't taken the time to reflect on how far we've come. Let's start with something recent. Our senior trip to Boston. After a countdown that seemed to last forever, we began to board the bus with a packed itinerary in store for us. We spent the weekend venturing through Six Flags, roaming Quincy Market, and immersing ourselves in the history of Fenway Park. Every moment was fulfilling and fun, but I would argue that the best part of the trip was seeing the Blue Man Group. That's the one night we weren't split into different cohorts. We spent it together as a class, bonding over our shared love and mild fear that one of those bald blue men might find us in the audience. Or let us not forget the infamous senior sunrise, a tradition where seniors begin the school year watching the sunrise together. This year, we decided to park on a field at Topland Farms in Roxbury, as recommended by the senior class before us. We arrived promptly at 6, watched the beautiful sunrise, then left. Many of us went out to breakfast, then continued our day as usual, or so I thought. Later that day, I received a phone call from a random number. Like any other person, I let it go to voicemail. Big mistake. Because what followed was several more calls, this time from panicked classmates, which sounded something like, "How could you let this happen? My mom is going to kill me," and "I almost got arrested." Apparently, none of us realized we weren't actually allowed to park in that field. So when those who carpooled left their cars there while heading to breakfast, the police were called. Thankfully, nobody was fined or arrested. And the phone call I mistakenly ignored, yes, that was the owner of the farm. In hindsight, maybe I should have double-checked with him before sending the whole class there. But honestly, it just made that memory so much more unforgettable. And while not every moment was filled with chaos and voicemails from angry farmers, many were filled with celebration. Over this past year, our school has made history over and over again. The boys' soccer team kicked off things by winning the CIAC Class Tournament Championship, bringing home the first boys' soccer state title in school history. Then, the field hockey team took the spotlight, winning the CIAC Class S Championship, their first state title since 2002 and their third overall. Not long after, the boys' basketball season secured the first basketball state championship in Spartan history. Whether you were on the field, in the bleachers, or watching from your phone, the energy was powerful. For the seniors, This was assuredly our year. So we have had our fair share of unforgettable moments this year. But I think it's safe to say we will also never forget having to recite the Gettysburg Address freshman year, preparing our debates sophomore year, or taking the SAT junior year. And of course, the countless other moments that shaped our time here. But it didn't all start at Shepaug. When I think back, one memory stands out vividly. Sitting in the Washington Primary School computer lab with Mrs. Brown, trying to teach a handful of 5-year-olds how to use a computer. We were given our very first user IDs, and I can still remember how excited our classmates were to have an account for themselves. The idea was structured like this: our last name, first initial, then 2025. Nobody knew what 2025 meant. So when the teacher told us that was the year we would be finishing high school, we all laughed. Back then, I remember the number feeling like such a faraway place, something so different it was hard to even imagine. But our teachers and parents assured us that time was going to fly, and that 2025 would be here before we knew it. And somehow they were right, because here we are. We've blinked, and the future we used to daydream about is suddenly right in front of us. But before we walk this stage, let's not forget to thank the people sitting in front of us today. The ones who believed in us before we could believe in ourselves. The ones who stayed up late helping with projects, who cheered us on from the sidelines, who left notes in our lunchboxes and wiped our tears after a rough day. The educators seated before us have pushed us, challenged us, and supported us, not just as students, but as people. Our teachers showed up for us, and for that, we owe them more than any words can say. Class of 2025, if I leave you with anything, it would be this quote from the Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard. Life can only be understood backwards, but must be lived forwards. We've made more than memories here. We've made moments that will follow us wherever we go. We can only understand the importance of those memories once they are behind us. As we move forward in the world, it is important that we never forget the memories, the lessons, and the people who shaped us. And with that, graduates, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Krista. In a moment, I'll be inviting our superintendent, Dr. Reed, to come forward. Superintendent Rod Reed, by virtue of the authority vested in me as the principal of Shepaug Valley School, I hereby certify that the graduates on the stage before you have met the qualifications established by the Region 12 Board of Education and the State of Connecticut, and are in fact eligible to receive and should have conferred upon them a Shepaug Valley High School diploma. Dr. Rod Reed, could you approach the podium for your remarks?
Good morning. First, I wanted to say, heck with the rain. This is your awesome day. And I also wanted to say, everyone knows how I feel about safety and security. You chose an outstanding speaker today. You knocked it out of the park, Andrew. Thank you. So welcome to families and guardians, Board of Education members, faculty, and of course, our outstanding students of the class of 2025. You know, students, commencement speeches are often filled with advice. Well-meaning, of course, sweeping thoughts on how to navigate the world ahead. But I've always found myself less interested in advice and more drawn to what I think of as the essence of what might lie ahead. Not instructions at all, but glimpses. Not roadmaps, but simple reflections. Each year, when I'm thinking of the speech long in advance, I wait for a moment, just one, during the school year that sparks a feeling, a memory, an image, an idea, something that might quietly say to me, that's it. That's the message I want to deliver to the seniors this year. Sometimes it arrives early in the fall. Sometimes it sneaks up in the late days of spring. But this year was different. This year, that moment didn't just speak to your journey, it also mirrored my own. As many of you know, this is my final year as superintendent, although many of my staff remind me this actually is my third attempt at a retirement. But I've realized something simple yet profound. No matter what your age, no matter what stage in your life, we are all in pursuit of something. A goal, a calling, a sense of peace, purpose, but most of all, happiness. Could be graduation, a new job, a move to a new city, new college, even the final chapter in one's career. We chase things hoping they will define us in some positive way, that they'll make us whole, that they'll finally or will be able to say, this is it, I've arrived, I've accomplished something great. I am truly happy. And yet happiness, part of the human condition, of course, the thing so many of us are running toward, is rarely found in the destination. It's something far more elusive than that. I know you've heard the phrase before, certainly in social studies class, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's embedded in the very bones of this country's identity. It's been sung about, explored in films, written about, and quoted in conversations. Yes, going off to college or beginning your careers is a pursuit to find your place and ultimately your happiness. But what is that pursuit really about? To me, I'm certain there will be days when it might feel a little bit like standing at the edge of an ocean. You feel that gentle wave of content and happiness lap at your feet, and then it recedes. It doesn't vanish. It never does. It retreats. It's ephemeral, only to return again if you're willing to stand still long enough to wait for it. Author Anthony D'Angelo said, "We tend to forget happiness doesn't come as a result of getting something we don't have, but rather of recognizing and appreciating what we do have." And here in Region 12, you've had a lot to appreciate. Happiness came to you in many forms, many times in the gift of a strong, supportive community, of teachers and coaches and staff who challenged you, friends who laughed and learned with you, and families who stood by you even when the going got tough. I've seen this all firsthand and watched how you've grown, not just in knowledge, but in character. In classrooms and field trips, through music and the arts, in agri-science hours and senior projects, you tackled hard problems, wrestled big questions, and supported one another in ways that remind us so deeply about why education matters so much. You were innovative, curious, resilient, but more than that, you practiced kindness and respect. So as you prepare to move on to college, to career, to wherever life may lead, I hope you remember this. Happiness isn't a finish line. It isn't a prize you earn or a milestone you check off. It's found in the small moments, in helping someone who's struggling, in solving a problem, in choosing to look beyond yourself, even when it's easier not to do so. It's found when you really, truly dig deep and feel proud of the person you've become. Even when the world becomes a little chaotic out there around you, don't let it distract you or deter you from your pursuits. As poet Mary Oliver once asked, "Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your wild and precious life?" That answer is still yours to write, but if I could offer anything to you, not advice, really just a hope, it would be this. I hope you pursue meaning. I hope you pursue kindness, pursue challenge, and yes, pursue happiness. Pursue it in the way you live, in the choices you make, in the people you love, and in the work you ultimately choose to do. Congratulations, class of 2025. You're ready more than you know, and we couldn't be prouder, and thank you for letting me be your superintendent. I was honored. Thank you. At this time, I would like to welcome Chairperson of the Region 12 Board of Education, Jennifer Pody, for a few remarks before she joins me in awarding the diplomas to the graduates of the class of 2025.
Hi, guys. It's such an honor to be here today to speak to you on behalf of the Board of Education. I've been thinking a lot about what I should say to you, what kind of advice I should offer, how I can inspire you. I think I want to start with, what's the role of the Board of Education? Sounds inspiring, doesn't it? Right? Stay with me. I'm not sure if you know about the board's role and what the role of the Board of Education is. Hours are spent approving budgets, adopting policies, creating a strategic plan, and operational goals for the district. Some may think it sounds boring. Others may think we're crazy. And to be honest, I think both are correct. Sometimes it can be dull, and we are crazy. Boards of education can represent all kinds of communities, large and small, urban and rural. I know it's no secret, but Shepaug is a bit on the small side. There are 80 of you here today. Danbury High School graduated 730 seniors this week. That's crazy, right? Crazy. So here's why I think we're unique and, dare I say, special. All 12 of us board members have a vested interest in each and every one of you. Living in such a small community has allowed us the opportunity to know you personally. Some of you we have known most of your life. Some of you are our kids, Peyton, Gavin, Reed. Some of you are our kids' friends, maybe our neighbors. You check us out at the market. Some of you have left your hometowns to become part of ours. And we're so glad you did. We've created floral arrangements together. We've cheered you on at games. We've even traveled around the state to support your teams. We've sat in on your senior projects. We've celebrated your artwork at board meetings. We've been blown away by your amazing talent on stage. We beam with pride by your sportsmanship awards. We ask you questions when you present your capstone agri-science projects at board meetings. The best part of serving on this board is you, because you matter. You matter to your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, teachers, principals, custodians, front office staff, SROs, Andrew, and to us, the 12 Board of Ed members. In this small community, where it can feel so small at the end of your senior year, you can't wait to break free, get some elbow room. Small feels really small. Now you move on to your next chapter. You will venture into larger spaces, towns, cities, countries. You'll spread your wings, stretch your legs, maybe reinvent yourself. The best part is you get to take this small town secret sauce and carry it with you. You might not even realize it until years later. You can't shake it. It's just part of you. And it's your turn to cultivate new relationships, meet new people, foster lifelong friendships, and create your own communities. And when you do, you will make those around you feel special, small town special. Now, here's the thing you might not realize. When you come back home after being away, all of a sudden, small feels good again. You run into your first grade teacher, a high school friend's dad at the bank, or one of the kids you used to babysit, and you think, wow, it's so good to be home. I miss this place. Shepaug will always be here to welcome you back, to tell us what you're doing in the world, because the truth is, we're cheering you on long after you've graduated. Under your chair, the Board of Ed has given you a little parting gift as you've lifted off into the world. You don't have to wear it. Maybe tuck it into a drawer, and sometimes when you're feeling homesick, pull it out. And remember that you will always matter to us. Congratulations to the class of 2025. Go out there and do great things, big and small, and continue to make us proud.
I think so, yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Rodriguez and Ms. Pody. At this time, the moment we've all been waiting for, we will announce each graduate and ask them to join us one by one on the stage to receive their diploma. As they do, they will pause at the end for a picture taken by our photographer that will be available later. I'd like to invite to the stage now any board members or faculty members who will be conferring diplomas. And Dr. Rodriguez, could you come back to the stage if you're not already up here? You're up here, okay. Graduates, please rise when your row is called and stay standing until all graduates in your row have returned to their seat. Graduates, please rise. Peyton Emma King. Juliet Ann Eddy. Krista Nicole Rickmers. Gavin Riley Abdella. Michaela Marie Alexandrowitz. Alondra Artieda. Griffin Turner Blum. Matthew Collingswood Buell.
Congratulations, Matthew.
Ethan Tucker Butts. Ethan Matthew Cacase. Nicolo W. Colangelo. Annabelle Catherine Corcoran. Jennifer E. Damasa. James Feather. Gavin Giroux. Mitchell Minjun Goldberg. Samuel Granada. Emily Grant. Annabella Amanda Gronbach. Vanessa Marie Haskell. Gabriella Pauline Hilario. Catalina Hortolano. Rin V. Hutchings. Amelia Claire Jacob. Thomas James. Zinnia M. James. Osborne Russell Carney. Mina A. Keir Eldon. Julia Kinoshita McCauley. Griffin J. Koenig. Nathaniel A. Koenig. Hayden Cole Lasky. Marco L. Leclerc. Carolina S. Libano. Alex Lindsay. Joseph Leiter. Hadley Teresa Marcoux. Vincenzo Santana Masego. Ronan Otto McCabe. Darcy Lee McCrary. Daniel F. Millen. Claire Linnea Moore. Hayden Rhea Miles. Heather Grace Elizabeth Nelson. Joshua Nichols. Luke Nichols. Buchanan Parker Nunes. Emma O'Dwyer. Peyton Tyler Ongley. Ivana Camila Ortega. Kaylee Michelle Osborne. Alexander Joseph Ostrowski. Maya Paishao. Amanda Lauren Phillip. Leah Power. Talon R. Profeta. Alexandra Martha Keehee. Catherine D. Ramsey. Brooke Leona Remsen. Jacob Michael Sampson. Caleb Siemens. Juliana Guadalupe Shea. Daniel J. Shelters. James Short. Tim Shishkov. Matilda J. Skiles. Hunter Smith. Rocco Dominic Smith. Nathan J. Steinis. Sunday Carmela Tenhove. Peyton Jack Thomas. Gianna Renee Trombetto. Seven Robert Valentine. Sarah Elizabeth Waters. Rebecca Maureen Wheeler. Isabel Mackenzie Wilkins. Miles Wilson. Peyton Callista Witt. Reed Rocco Warner. And Julia Walagadzu. Family and friends, I give to you the Shepaug Valley High School Class of 2025. Now, please welcome your class president, Krista Rickmers, back to the front of the stage. She will lead you in the traditional turning of the tassel. Before we begin our recessional, a couple of words of thanks. First, in the back of the auditorium is Ms. Sharon Magner, who really runs everything that's important to this school. Nothing beautiful or organized or wonderful would happen here except under her watchful eye. Could you please acknowledge her in the back of the room? Our custodial staff, they're always working behind the scenes, but they were toiling all kinds of hours yesterday to give us as much possible time as we could have to figure out whether we might be outside. And as a result, they delayed the work they had to do and in a Herculean effort got us set up for today. Thank you to our custodial staff. Our security team made sure this was orderly and safe. They're all here, and Mr. Parachi made the thing work. Thanks for that. Finally, graduates, you achieved so much, but we know none of us get where we are on our own. In the audience, our parents, guardians, family, friends, and teachers who helped you. Could you give them a round of applause? Okay, in a moment we'll begin our recessional, and here's how it's going to work. Mr. Parachi will set the faculty up to form something that we call the gauntlet, but it's an affectionate gauntlet. There'll be two lines approaching the exit to the auditorium. The graduates will walk through and have one last moment with their teachers. They'll move out to their class song in a moment. After they walk through that gauntlet, they'll walk out to the front of the school where they will then have their traditional toss of their cap. And we'll give a little time for people. I know it's a little tougher in here. There are some bottlenecks, but to slowly move out. Don't be in a hurry, right? Orderly move out there in case you want to see that happen. And then after that, the PTO is sponsoring a little hospitality tent on the front portico with some refreshments, okay? So just thank you for everyone for being here and helping us celebrate these wonderful kids. I'm going to ask Mr. Parachi to lead the faculty out to form the gauntlet. I'm going to ask the sound crew to play the class song, and I'm going to ask the students to begin their recessional. You're not students, you're graduates. The gauntlet is formed. Graduates, please rise. Your song will play. Please recess out and end up out through that door. You see where I'm pointing? Through that door. That's where the gauntlet is. Okay, I'll lead you that way. Okay, song should play.